Have you ever dared to entertain the chilling thought of a world war erupting in the midst of our modern-day society? Delve into the chronicles of our species, and you'll find us bearing witness to two colossal conflicts that rattled the very bedrock of civilization: the Great Wars. These were epochs of staggering chaos and destruction, when nations were brutally torn apart, and the cost was counted in the loss of countless innocent lives. But remember, these cataclysmic phenomena unfolded in an era strikingly distinct from ours. An era when warfare was declared with the roar of guns and the deafening explosions of bombs, when strategies were etched onto physical maps, and communication was as slow and painstaking as the march of a soldier on the field. Now, with a resounding crash, we plunge into our present day, an epoch marked by the relentless pulse of technological progress, the intricate web of global economies, and a societal landscape painted with an array of complexities. The visage of warfare has undergone a radical metamorphosis, and the rules of the game have been rewritten. Instead of mud-filled trenches and blood-soaked battlefields, we have the silent assassins of cyber warfare and drones. The delicate dance of geopolitics has twisted and turned, with new alliances taking birth, old rivalries reignited, and the scales of power in a constant state of flux on the global stage. And then, there's society. It's no longer a world where information trickles down like gentle rain through newspapers and radio broadcasts. Today, we inhabit a digital epoch where news flashes like lightning across social media platforms, and public sentiment can morph into a formidable force, capable of altering tide of events. So what would a world war look like in this complex tapestry of an era? It's a question that sends tremors through our souls. Yet, it's a scenario we must have the audacity to envisage, not to stoke the fires of fear, but to grasp the potential aftermath. It's to realize that in a world so intricately interwoven, the aftershocks of a global conflict would reverberate far and wide, leaving a path of destruction in their wake. The prospect is bone-chilling, yet grasping its enormity might be our only hope of preventing such a catastrophe. In the blink of an eye, tensions escalate, alliances form, and suddenly, humanity finds itself on the brink. In our ever-evolving world, the potential sparks that could ignite a global conflict are numerous and diverse. The world is a complicated web of relationships and interests, a delicate balance that could easily be disrupted. Let's consider a few hypothetical scenarios. Economic conflicts, for instance, could serve as a catalyst. In a world where economies are interwoven, the collapse of a major currency or a significant trade dispute could ripple across the globe. Countries might be forced to choose sides, pitting economic allies against each other. Territorial disputes, too, could be a spark. We've seen throughout history how disagreements over land and resources can lead to large-scale conflicts. In an era of dwindling resources and growing populations, such disputes could easily escalate beyond borders, drawing in nations far removed from the original conflict. Then there's the new frontier of cyber warfare. In our digital age, a significant cyber attack could cripple economies, disrupt governments, and sow widespread chaos. With nations increasingly reliant on digital infrastructure, cyber warfare represents a very real and present danger. In each of these scenarios, the role of alliances and treaties cannot be underestimated. Just as in the lead-up to the First and Second World Wars, alliances can act as a double-edged sword. On one hand, they can deter aggression by presenting a united front. On the other hand, they can escalate a regional conflict into a global one, as allies are drawn in to honor their commitments. The stakes are high, the potential for devastation is immense. And yet, as history has shown us time and again, humanity has a knack for stumbling into conflict. As tensions rise and alliances shift, the world teeters on the edge. As the world holds its breath, the storm breaks and war is upon us. The battlefield has evolved. It's no longer just trenches and open fields. That's the stark reality of modern warfare. It's a theater where the lines are blurred, where the actors are not just soldiers but machines, codes, and even the very fabric of our society. Instead of the thunderous charge of infantry, war today is heralded by the silent hum of drones. Unmanned aerial vehicles controlled from thousands of miles away can strike with deadly precision, leaving no room for escape. These machines of war, devoid of any human emotion, have transformed the face of combat, making it a deadly and impersonal affair. Yet the theater of war isn't confined to the physical world. It extends into the realm of cyberspace, where battles are waged not with bullets, but with bites. Cyber warfare, the invisible and silent threat that can cripple nations without firing a single shot. Sophisticated cyber attacks can disrupt critical infrastructure, paralyze economies, and spread chaos and fear among civilians, proving that in the modern age, everyone is a potential casualty of war. The spectre of nuclear weapons also looms large in this grim scenario. These weapons of mass destruction, with their potential to obliterate cities and poison generations, represent the ultimate doomsday device. Each nuclear-armed nation is a ticking time bomb, and a world war could very well be the spark that sets them off. Yet, the most insidious aspect of modern warfare might be its global scale. The interconnectedness of our world means that a conflict in one corner can have devastating ripple effects worldwide. Economies, societies, and lives are intertwined, and war today would not be a local or regional affair, but a global catastrophe. In this era, a world war would indeed be a global catastrophe. A theatre where the stage is the world, the props are advanced technology, and the actors are not just soldiers, but every single one of us. A chilling reminder of the high stakes we're playing with in this precarious world of ours. When the dust settles, what remains of our world? A chilling question to ponder, isn't it? The aftermath of a modern world war would be a scene of unimaginable devastation. Let's take a moment to consider the human, economic, and environmental costs such a conflict would entail. The human cost would be incalculable. Lives lost, families torn apart, entire communities obliterated. The physical wounds of war would be matched only by the psychological trauma. Soldiers returning from the front lines, their minds scarred by the horrors they've witnessed. Civilians trying to rebuild their lives amidst the rubble of their homes and the ghosts of their loved ones. The collective trauma would reverberate through generations, creating a legacy of pain and loss that would take decades, if not centuries, to heal. The economic impact would be equally catastrophic. The infrastructure that underpins our society, from roads and bridges to power grids and communication networks, would be decimated. The cost of rebuilding would be astronomical, plunging nations into crippling debt. The global economy, so intricately interconnected, would collapse like a house of cards. The ripple effects would be felt everywhere, from the skyscrapers of Wall Street to the small farms in rural Africa. And then there's the environmental toll. The scars of war would be etched into the very fabric of our planet. Forests burnt to ashes, rivers poisoned, skies darkened by the smoke of 1,000 fires. The delicate balance of our ecosystem, already teetering on the brink, would be pushed over the edge. The consequences for biodiversity and climate stability would be dire. The societal fallout would be profound. Political upheaval, social unrest, a crisis of identity and purpose. The values and ideals we hold dear, the very foundations of our civilization, would be put to the ultimate test. Could we rebuild and recover? Undoubtedly. But the world as we know it would be irrevocably changed. The world we knew has been irrevocably changed, and the road to recovery is long and arduous. A sobering reminder of the high stakes we play with when we entertain the notion of a modern world war. In the wake of such devastation, what lessons can we glean? We must recognize that such a calamitous scenario serves as a stark reminder of the critical importance of diplomacy, conflict resolution, and international cooperation. We see the power of diplomacy in its ability to navigate the intricate web of international relations, preventing potential conflicts from escalating into full-blown wars. It's akin to a delicate dance, requiring grace, tact, an understanding of cultural nuances, and an unwavering commitment to peaceful dialogue. It's about finding common ground, bridging differences, and fostering mutual respect among nations. Conflict resolution too plays a significant role. It's an art, really, of finding solutions to complex problems, of transforming hostility into harmony. It involves negotiation, mediation, arbitration, and other peaceful means to resolve disputes. It's about breaking the cycle of violence and establishing a culture of peace. International cooperation is another crucial element. In a world that's more interconnected than ever, cooperation among nations is not just desirable, it's essential. It's about working together to address common challenges, from climate change to poverty, from terrorism to pandemics. It's about realizing that in this global village, the well-being of one is intertwined with the well-being of all. And let's not forget the importance of learning from history. As philosopher George Santayana famously said, "Those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it." History is our teacher, offering invaluable lessons on the consequences of war and the virtues of peace. It's a mirror reflecting our triumphs and tragedies, our wisdom and follies, urging us not to repeat past mistakes. In conclusion, the spectre of a world war in today's age should serve as a sobering reminder of the need for diplomacy, conflict resolution, international cooperation, and historical awareness. These are not just lofty ideals, they're practical tools for preventing the unthinkable from becoming a reality. May the horrors of a potential world war in our time remain only in our imaginations as we strive for peace, understanding, and cooperation on a global scale.